Eaton, Ohio, population 8,400. A quiet rural town where neighbors know each other, look after each other.
The typical small town USA, very tight community.
And where lies eventually catch up with the liars.
Starting to suspect there was something more sinister involved in this.
Tim Johnson grew up in Eaton, adopted around age 10. Tim had also had an older foster sister, Pamela Henry.
Tim Johnson was a shy, quiet person, very giving of himself.
After Tim's father passed away, he began living with and caring for his wheelchair-bound mother, Nancy.
She was pretty much bedridden. She had to have somebody there for the everyday feeding and clothing and bathing. So Timothy had to be there.
So when Tim Johnson went missing, people paid attention.
Initially, the call came into our agency here, into the sheriff's office, from a family member of Tim's, concerned for his whereabouts.
Reportedly, his sister Pamela was the last person to see Tim, but a different family member alerted the authorities that he had disappeared. Tim's foster sister Pamela Henry was living at the house with their mother as well. Her boyfriend, Adam Scott, 19 years her junior, would stay over sometimes too. A few weeks after Tim went missing, family members noticed concerning signs.
Family members began to become suspicious. There were personal items of Tim's, tools of his, a computer came up missing.
Something else disturbing.
Tim owned 2 cars. The family found that those had been driven by Pamela and Adam Scott, which would not be normal.
Pamela and Adam seemed to have logical explanations for everything, like how Adam was buying one of the vehicles from Tim. But not everyone was buying the logic.
The family said, hey, this just isn't right. It's not right. At that point, we said, okay, we see your suspicion here.
Detectives went to the house Tim shared with his mom and Pamela and found personal items that raised big questions. In the house, his wallet, checkbook, and calendar.
We found a calendar that recorded different things that he had done. Then you come up to that particular date and nothing after that, not a thing. So that told me that something happened abruptly.
Needing to know more, investigators contacted Pamela to see what she knew about Tim's disappearance. Pamela seemed more than cooperative.
Pam denied knowing anything about his whereabouts, even provided us an explanation of an argument that he and she had at the home and that Tim left in a dark-colored vehicle with someone else that picked him up.
Detectives asked Pamela Henry and Adam Scott to come down to the station to return Tim's vehicles and to talk more about Tim's possible whereabouts.
Both Pamela Henry and Adam Scott came to our office on their own free will. Pamela was very cooperative, didn't seem to be real nervous about anything. Adam Scott was really kind of a jolly, kind of happy guy. He was very pleasant to talk to. He was very polite.
Then detectives asked Pamela the question which would change the course of their investigation.
We offered her this test, and if you're good, you're good.
Pamela Henry agreed to take the test. The test was the CVSA.
CVSA stands for Computer Voice Stress Analyzer. It's basically sitting down, having a casual conversation with somebody, and we put a microphone on them and we record their yes and no answers.
Unlike the polygraph, some experts say the CVSA is more than 95% accurate, but is only used as a tool in an investigation. Investigator Linloff, who is also a certified voice stress analyst, administered the test. Pamela went first.
I always told I'm anemic, so I stay cold all the time.
She sits down and goes like this. And right away, that's the defensive posture that she's taken. It's almost like, bring it on.
Investigator Linloff would ask both relevant and irrelevant questions.
Is your name Pam?
Yes.
Did you see Tim get in a vehicle when he left his house?
Yes.
Is today Wednesday?
Yes.
Are you withholding any information concerning Tim's disappearance?
No.
Do you know what happened to Tim?
No.
Then it was Adam's turn.
He showed all kinds of indicators. rubbing his face, he was rubbing his eyes, and he was extremely nervous.
Are you sitting down?
Yes.
Did you pay $7,000 for Tim's van?
Yes.
Are you withholding any information about Tim's disappearance?
No.
Do you know what happened to Tim?
No.
The test concluded, and soon the results would be in.
This, it kind of took me back.
Timothy Johnson was missing. His foster sister, Pamela Henry, and her boyfriend, Adam Scott, were at the Preble County Sheriff's Department to voluntarily discuss Tim's possible whereabouts. While there, Pamela and Adam agreed to take a CVSA test, a computer voice stress analysis test, an investigative tool like a polygraph, but, according to some experts, more reliable.
Are you withholding any information concerning Tim's disappearance?
No.
Do you know what happened to Tim?
No.
Computer voice stress analysis expert Bill Endler has been teaching the process for 16 years to law enforcement in the United States and around the world. Bill finds the CVSA more reliable than the polygraph because the polygraph can be manipulated and the CVSA cannot.
With the polygraph, there are several countermeasures that a subject can do to basically manipulate the chart. They can control their breathing, whereas with the CVSA, there's really nothing they can do trying to manipulate it.
Researchers have learned that when the brain perceives punishment, physiological changes occur.
The muscles in your voice box tighten up. So when you speak, the air passes over, it still vibrates, but it doesn't vibrate at the same rate that it does when we're relaxed.
It was the moment of truth.
After both Adam Scott and Pamela Henry completed their CVSA test, David Lindelof told us there's deception.
I think I asked Pam 3 relevant questions. The relevant questions, in particular, showed deception on them.
Just in a matter of seconds, we went from a missing persons investigation to a homicide investigation.
Then the two were shown the deception in their tests.
Here's where I ask you the question, did you pay $7,000 for the van?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see that there?
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, you're not telling me the truth, okay? And you know you're not.
Both of them admitted, when confronted with the results of the test, yes, we killed Timothy Johnson.
I killed him.
Our reaction was, wow.
After a few differing versions, detectives finally learned exactly how Pamela and Adam maliciously murdered Pam's brother, Timothy.
Adam Scott overpowered him, put him in a chokehold. Pamela began to wrap his face and his head with plastic saran wrap. They were struggling, so Adam finished wrapping that around Tim's face.
You knew ahead of time that you was going to kill him.
I didn't think I'd do it, though.
Investigators then learned what Pamela and Adam did to Tim's body after they killed him.
They attempted to burn the body. Then they ended up concealing the body in a barrel, filled that barrel with concrete on top of his body. They were going to put this barrel in a truck and haul it down to the river and throw it off the bridge. But as it turns out, the barrel became too heavy to move.
When detectives went to Tim's house, they found in the barn the barrel filled with cement and Timothy. It weighed over 700 pounds.
We had to remove Timothy's body with air chisels. It's just mind-blowing to me. Nothing I've ever seen like that before.
Detectives couldn't believe the callousness and cruelty of Pamela.
She showed no remorse, not upset at all.
If Tim Johnson was sitting in that chair right now, what would you say to him?
Low down dirty dog.
It was just a cold-blooded, ruthless crime. Just probably one of the worst I've seen in my career.
Detectives soon learned the alleged motive: greed and jealousy. Tim was set to inherit everything after their ailing mom passed away.
Had we not done the voice stress test, I think they would have got away with murder.
Detectives credit the CVSA with getting their confessions. A truthful answer displays a vertical pattern. A deceptive answer displays a horizontal pattern.
The amount of horizontal basically indicates the amount of stress that individual was under when they answered that particular question.
They thought they were going to be able to pass it. They didn't think that it would trip them up. And when we confronted them with it, you're lying to us. Boom. I mean, it was, okay, we did it.
Pamela Henry and Adam Scott were both convicted of murder and abuse of a corpse. Pamela was sentenced to 25 years to life, and Adam Scott was sentenced to 20 years to life.
It was a brutal, I just couldn't imagine how Timothy, those last few moments of his life, knowing that his own sister was doing this. If they wouldn't have come in and we wouldn't have got the confession that we got from them, would the barrel still be there today? Maybe. I don't know.